Okay.
All right. What else do we have?
You're all set, Al.
And James. All right. So the meeting tonight is for the town board to meet. We're also having a public hearing to amend the zoning map for the town of Marlborough to establish a business corridor overlay district.
Thank you, Danielle. I'd like to start off the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. A moment of silence for all our brave men and women fighting all over the country for democracy and freedom, and especially for our first responders. As you know, like Danielle mentioned, there's a public hearing. So I'm going to open the public hearing. It's for a BC zone, which is the Baseside commercial zone. We did a resolution. We sent the referral to the county, which they'll meet first Wednesday in October. There's a 30-day period, but we'll have to wait to the planning board of the Ulster County to make their referral. Usually not a problem, but we'll wait. So anybody on the Bayside, Justin Dates is here. Any questions on the Bayside commercial portion of that site plan? Going once, going twice.
Hey, Al, quick
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
On that whole driveway situation that was there with the original Bayside, is that different and changed? Maybe Justin, you could answer that?
no, it doesn't change. And correct me if I'm wrong, Justin. So the housing, the 104 apartments, that road leads to the commercial part. And I believe they have to do that road before they can continue to go into the commercial part. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah, that road is required to access
Right.
the residential in the rear, and then the commercial piece does have a driveway that comes off of that. It also has a driveway on 9W as well.
Okay.
And that's
So-
been approved by the DOT.
Yeah, absolutely.
And does it go still into the middle school?
Our proposed driveway would align with, the middle school, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, there is an access to the middle school. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes. So I believe that you're correct, Mark, in thinking that public road that goes up to the middle school and it rears off to the right, to the north, to go to the commercial part. I believe that has to be built as part of the whole package. Am I correct, Justin?
Yeah, that proposed town road, yes, would be built out.
Okay.
And gets built first?
It's really our only access to that residential component, so we really need to build that out, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, Al, I have a question. Bobby Tronsolito. Justin, is that building going to be under or over 10,000 square feet?
So the building shown on the current site plans is 12,600 square feet. In two
Okay, so
floors.
then it has going to have to be sprinkled.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Appreciate that. Very good.
Anybody else? Okay. So I need a motion to close the public hearing on the business corridor overlay
motion.
district. Alan, I need a second. Second by Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. So we'll wait for the Ulster County Planning Board to do the referral and then wait a certain amount of days that's allowed. I think it's 30 days and then we're good. Okay, Justin?
Great. So it'll be on another agenda upon receipt of that, or 30 days.
No, you're done.
Oh, great. Okay, even better. Okay.
Well, you know what? No, no, we have to accept the resolution.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
that's gonna be
So
on the.
once we get the referral, then we have to accept the resolution, and then you're done. So it'll be probably the second meeting of October,
Yes.
correct, Danielle?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't leave yet.
I didn't know you weren't there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, Justin, thank you.
I,
So I need a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So
Aye.
moved. That Ed?
Yeah, Ed's here. Yeah, he's here.
I'm
here.
Motions to approve minutes from the September 14th, 2020 Town Board meeting. I had a motion to accept that.
Motion. I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Okay, thank you very much. Opposed? So moved. Oh, everybody say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Nobody opposed. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So I need a motion to pay bills in the amount of $121,092.74.
Pay the bills. I make a motion. I'll second it.
Ed seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody? So that's great. I don't have any presentations. Any comments on the agenda tonight, gentlemen and ladies?
And I mean,
Okay.
Al, I have one thing. I don't know if I want to bring it up now, but the Lions Club, Cole, I know you're part of the Lions Club. They want to do a Thanksgiving luncheon for the seniors like they did for the barbecue this year. And we have extra money left over from that, what we allocate every year to the seniors. I think we still have another $700 left. So they were just wanting to know, is the board okay with us utilizing the rest of that money for November or right before Thanksgiving for a luncheon for the seniors?
I don't have a problem. Just have them put in a formal
Yeah.
letter to the supervisor stating what they want to do and the cost of it, and we'll check make sure we have
Okay.
it all in there. So this way we're good. I don't think the board would have a problem doing that.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll let them know. I think they said they only spent $700 on the barbecue this year that they had to allocate. And so we budget $1,500, I believe. So they do have the money. So I'll have them write a letter to you.
I'll be a senior by then, too.
You'll be a senior, Ed. You might get a luncheon.
November 7th, 65.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
That being said, thank you, Scott. Just have Steve Jennison send me a letter saying what he's going to do, the date, maybe even if he has a date.
Sure.
And you know how they're going to accommodate it. They're going to cook from the school. They're going to cook from the pavilion.
Yeah.
Just some.
I think they
some
said they're going to do
information.
exactly what they did for the picnic and cook it
All
and then
right.
deliver it. Or if people want to show up, they can show up and pick it up. So.
Sounds great.
Yep.
Especially during these times. Really appreciate that. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody have any ideas? We're moving on. So we're going to new business. October the 12th is Columbus Day. I think we still celebrate that, but we usually meet on Monday and we get the recording. So usually town hall and the employees have the day off, but usually we meet that Monday. So, and now with Zoom, we could record. Hopefully we'll be able to Zoom in October. So anybody have a problem with that? Doing it
No.
Monday as usual?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll do that. I need a motion to accept the tentative for 2021.
I'll make a motion that we accept the tentative, and just so the guys know, this is just a tentative and we can make changes
Yep.
after this.
On the way. I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? None said, so moved. Good motion. And we talked about the fire alarm installation and the
Yeah.
monthly contract for the highway building and storage garage. Chris Wilco asked me and Scott to get a hold of Gary Lazaroff and John Alondri to get 2 more quotes to make sure that everything's okay. But on the whole, I don't think anybody would disagree that we need that in that building. So we'll wait for those 2 quotes and then we'll move forward on it. So I
Yeah.
think the first quote was around 12,000 or something to install it, and then a $45 a month to perform all what you have to do to keep it up to standards. So it's a good idea.
I think that was a little bit of an oversight on our behalf.
Yep.
I think I just assumed it was going to happen and it didn't, and I'm glad we caught it. The
Yeah.
one thing I'd like to bring up is once it is actually alarmed, should we reach out to our insurance company to see if it'll change our coverage rate? Just
I should always do that. I'll do
Okay.
that.
I would think it should, Alan. I mean, I would agree.
100%. Yeah.
And this came up too because, think about it. We have an alarm system on the fires, on the gas pump system.
Mhm.
It alarms, but it doesn't go anywhere. So it could alarm and
Just
no one
audible?
else could be there. And technically it doesn't go to a service at this point. So
Yeah,
it's something that really needs to be done. So.
that definitely needs to be done.
Well, and we're blessed to have a few Milton firemen on the highway department, which is a blessing too. So,
Yeah.
Just a few.
so thank you for that. So we'll wait for 2 more quotes, and then if we don't get those 2 quotes, we can move forward and with that one company. So I think everybody's in agreement that we should be doing that. It's an oversight on our part, long overdue. On the working topics, the short-term rentals, we're going to meet myself, Tom Corcoran, Howard, and the chairman of the planning board committee, and then we'll report to the town board of, compromises and whatever we could come up with. But so the 2 liaisons, and then the main guy is Tom, and the other main guy is the chairman of the planning board. So I think that
But
we're going to meet tomorrow. So this way we could, excuse me, Ed?
The town board's going to ultimately decide what we're going to do. It's not
Yeah,
going to be up to the planning board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're just going to report back to you once we meet and exactly what we came up with. If we don't come up with anything, whatever it is, it's just like you with the liaison for the police department. You make a recommendation to the town board and we accept or don't accept. So that's the
Okay.
whole thing.
Thank you.
Plus, I just don't feel that, and I think Tom agrees. I just want to. It doesn't feel like we'll be very productive if we just round in circles. So we'll meet and we'll discuss, right, Tom?
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Okay. So the COVID-19, I think we have about 7 cases or 9 cases in Marlborough now. Just to let you know that Tina Rosa went to a 16-year-old party. It was outside, but it turns out that one of the people at the party had COVID. And so she went and they got tested. So we're waiting for results. So right now she's actually working from home. She's doing the water billing and oh my God.
There goes Ed.
Sorry about that.
She's doing the water billing and the payroll. It's a good thing we got her that laptop. So just want to let you know it's still out there. Be very careful, especially everybody. They got some hot spots, especially in Orange County, in Brooklyn.
Rockland.
Yeah, Rockland and Dutchess. So I think what's going to happen now is I think the government's going to not look at regional, but the hot spots and start doing things according to, whatever it has to do as far as shutting those different things down so it doesn't spread the COVID. We've been talking with the chief, had a big discussion today. As you know, we have some pick your owns that are really because people from New Jersey and all over surrounding areas, beautiful days, beautiful autumn days. The trees are turning different colors. Pick your owns are rocking to the point that we're very, very concerned. And so I've been talking to the chief. As you know, we give out warnings. Some of our delis have 6 warnings. I don't know why they don't get it, but it's a concern with me and the chief, and it should be a concern to the board. So I'm just bringing that all up. Chief, you would like to respond on that, or?
Yeah, so we got another complaint after we spoke out in reference to that one pick your own again today. So the Paws New York complaints are starting to increase. People are narrowing down on certain businesses that they're realizing are not complying. I would imagine with the number of Paws complaints coming in that we will expect state interaction, maybe health department interaction, or liquor authority interaction, which predominantly will shut down any of these businesses. They've all been warned 5, 6 times. I've had personal conversations with all but the one company. Patrol has been dealing with the one company. So it is what it is if it happens. They've all been warned. They're not paying attention. Large crowds in the U-Picks. That's where we are with it.
Thanks, chief. Yeah, so
Well,
we are addressing it, so we'll see what happens. Especially, I think the Board of Health maybe help us with this and other different organizations in the county.
what was the main complaint, Jerry? Lack of mask wearing, or social distancing, or everything?
No social distancing, lack of masks, and overcapacity.
Well,
I don't know how you argue overcapacity. I'm not sure of
I don't
a
think,
number that was been put on the U-Picks or the farms,
I don't think.
Yeah.
but the no masks and definitely social distancing. We're talking crowds of this past weekend over 3,000 people.
Yeah, thousands of people.
I think the farms are actually starting to implement some kind of crowd control as far as, doing cutoffs. And then they're actually putting it out on some social media platforms like, hey, we're full. I don't know what the other ones are doing. I've only seen 1 or 2 of them do it.
Right.
But I think they're trying to self-govern it, but I don't know what the other ones are.
They did institute a quota limit. So I don't know how they determined that number. When they do that, that creates the traffic nightmare that Mr. Baker has witnessed. I'm sure others too. Obviously, because they shut down the farm, nobody's allowed in. So they decide they're going to drive around town for a while, sightsee, cause other issues. Because I've gotten a slew of complaints of suspicious cars, people in people's driveways, so forth. Because they're kind of kill time till the farm can go down below their numbers, and then they let people back in again. But that creates the traffic problems. The patrol's been dealing with it, so it's not that big of an issue. It is a concern, and people are making the complaints. And if the warnings go unheeded, there's gonna be problems.
Yep.
Hey, Jerry,
Yes, sir.
question I've been asked, Jerry, is by citizens, if they see a situation consistently where they go to a certain place, masks are not being used, crowds are too big, they should contact the police department, or should they contact someone else? What
They contact.
would you want them to do?
The New York Paws complaint website.
You hear me?
They could definitely call the police department.
Contact what?
Either the police
Okay.
department or the Paws complaint website.
Okay.
Yeah, but Jerry, you don't have any guidelines. I mean, these, like you said, these are thousands of people. I don't know. What are your guidelines regarding that? We don't know what they are, right? And
Well, regardless of what guidelines, we know it's clear that the executive order says you need to wear masks and you need to social distance.
Yep.
I'm not confident on the number of people that can be in a U-Pick.
Right.
That's what I don't know.
I don't
But regardless of whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people,
Yeah.
the the social distancing and the masks are required.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay.
And I
So-
think that's the bigger part of the issues.
Right.
Okay.
Traffic
Yeah,
that's generating.
I don't know how we control the crowds because, well, I know some of the wineries are trying to control it by reservation only. But even so, they still have 500 people there on a given day with a waiting list of several hundred. So it's kind of out of control in that sense. So I don't know what we can. They should be wearing masks and social distancing, but how the heck are you going to social distance in an apple orchard? I don't know.
Well, I think the first logical thing is when you approach it, you should at least have a sign saying that you should have to wear a mask.
Well, they all do.
I don't
They
think
all have
some
huge sign. The Boys at Farms had a sign probably 10 feet wide. It actually had a 6-foot logo on it.
All of them are doing that, but
yeah, it's.
I don't know if all of them are adhering to no. You don't have a mask, you're not allowed in. So it's a difficult situation. We realize that, but we have to, Jerry has to go through the formalities of, getting a hold of the sheriff, getting a hold of the county, getting a hold of Board of Health. So we have to do all those things. I don't, it's a lady called me today, and me and Jerry have been dealing with her. She's very concerned of what could happen with this COVID, especially if they're coming out of New Jersey or different places. I mean, New Jersey's supposed to be clean, but who knows, And the whole thing is, it's the dynamics of the pick your own have changed so much where they're serving food and alcohol beverage and stuff like that. So, I don't know.
Well, in that
they
case,
have to make sure they're all employees have to.
You have the state liquor authority also, which they'll yank their license if they're not, and that's a big deal.
But we're talking about ag and market.
They already yanked the one across the river in Mahoney, so they yanked their liquor license.
Yes, they did.
I think the biggest problems.
All right, I just wanted to let the board know what's going on and how we're addressing the issue. So this way everybody's aware of what,
Jerry,
what's
what was your
coming.
issue you were bringing up?
I think one of the big issues that I think we're going to have to end up dealing with is the crowd size. I'm trying to find out if there's a limit to crowd size. We know in restaurants they're acting or they're working on 25% capacity.
Yeah, 25%.
No groups larger than 50. High school graduation was limited to 150. The problem is there's no place that I can find that tells you what a U-Pick place has. Nothing specific to that, like restaurants.
Tom, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How would we do, like, let's say there's a U-Pick and they have a bar restaurant area that's defined in a building, let's say. Wouldn't that go down to, I don't know if because they're ag, but does our town code still say a certain amount per square foot?
As far as occupancy rating?
Yeah, populace.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. We've been
that's what I'm asking. I don't know.
We've been dealing
You're
with this for like
You're asking
a
me.
year.
You're asking me a question about U-Pick that, in theory, doesn't have authoritative to have restaurant type situation. They're supposed to be apple cider donuts and stuff produced on the farm, and then it's got a little bit opened up. Board of Health allows them a little bit, with the hot dogs and hamburgers, but there's really not supposed to be like a full-blown sit-down restaurant. It's supposed to be like on the fly type of thing.
Well, if they are serving alcohol, then it's the state liquor authority too that has really strict standards, as far as I understand. Have you tried, Jerry Cornell, Cooperative Extension, in terms of guidelines for pick your own?
No, I have not.
I know they had a whole list of COVID, regulations. So that may be an area you can check. I'll also try to look into it a little bit too, because thousands of people. You name any, pick your own on Saturday. It was just ridiculous.
Right. And the question also becomes with their liquor license. It's clear in the executive order that you can't just sell liquor; you have to sell food too. So
Yeah.
are these people just drinking, or are these people drinking and eating the hot dogs? And because it's ag, what exemptions do they have? It's not just like going down to the local restaurant
Right.
and looking to see what they're doing, because they have a whole different set of rules. And honestly, I'm not confident I understand them all.
Exactly.
And I was just asking, like Tom, for a little bit of clarification because I don't want to see these farms get blindsided by the SLA walking in and being like, "Hey, you're closed and we're pulling your license." So at least they would be informed as well. I'm sure they're doing the best they can. You know what I mean? My confidence in them saying that they're trying the best they can, but
I'm
you need
sure
to know
they
the
are,
rules.
because if they were to lose their liquor license, forget it.
Yeah.
Right. Very cognizant of that.
Yeah. Alan, you're probably well aware. I mean, it's a whole different animal with ag and market.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go through any. I don't have any correspondence. Any public comment? Mark, you were going to ask about the
Right, if you could give
tentative?
us some parameters of what it's is at right now, et cetera.
Well, I could tell you, myself, and Scott Corcoran and Christine Wilco have been working on this for a couple of weeks. It's a very difficult year, especially on the revenue side. Where our insurance, as always, is kicked up. I think it's a 13-15% range, maybe even 16. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott.
14%. 14%.
14%.
Like $110,000 increase.
Yeah.
What
So
was that, Scott?
the other things are.
$110,000 increase.
It's about 110,000.
110,000 increase.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you were sent all the tentative stuff. The board was all sent everything that we did.
I've seen
all
it.
the line
I have some questions, but
Okay.
we can do it for some other time.
We can do it offline. You can email.
Yeah, I'll
So,
send you
and
an
the other
email.
way, Mark, is, the other thing is, Mark, we're at bare bones. So we've asked a couple of different departments, like the police department, the highway department, to trim some of their budget for 2021. I just found out today that Mobile Life wants to meet with us, and because of the COVID, they haven't had the calls that they usually have, and we really depend on those calls for our budget and their budget. So I'll be meeting with Scott Woolsey from Mobile Life and Scott Corcoran and Christina Wilco on that issue. So that tentative is, it's a living document, so it could change. But I can tell you, we worked very hard, and so far things are looking not as bad as we thought. So at the next meeting, we'll have the preliminary, which becomes the final.
I was thinking of trying to let the public know what your tentative total number stands at right now.
Well, I could have told you before this meeting I had with Scott Woolsey, but it's going to change, I think, a little more. So basically, we were down. Let me put it this way. We made the cap at 2%. We were a little below the 2% cap.
I mean,
And I would have gave you more numbers for this tentative, because it looked very good, considering all the different hurdles that we had to jump. But because of the phone call I had with Scott Woolsey today, I'm a little concerned that it's going to change a little bit.
I can
the
put
tentative
that
mark. The tentative mark is like Al said, is definitely going to change. But I mean, for right now, the tentative, if you look at what we're at from the tax cap, we're under the tax cap by $73,634, which is at 1.18%. Our percentage change right now on the tentative is a 0.29% increase. 0.29% increase as of right now, but again, that's probably going to change. And for the overall, levy change. It's a 2.03 levy change right now. So again, this is going to change because we're basing stuff on some revenues that we think we're going to have right now, and basically what we've got from all the departments. But this can go up a little, but then if it goes up what we think it's going to go up, we might have to start cutting some other areas to get it back down. So that's why Al's saying, we could give you the numbers, but this is definitely not going to be the final that we present to the board. We have some big increases probably coming from Mobile Life this year, and with the healthcare increases, and I think the state also hit us with a 10% increase in pension contributions this year. So we got that on top of everything else. CHIP money was cut by 20% already that we know of for the highway department. So there's a lot of things that are probably going to get cut next year, which makes us a little nervous because we really don't know because they don't tell us yet. So we're making our best case to the board of what we believe where we're going to fall this year, right, Al? And that's all we can do right now based on what we believe from historical data. So, but basically that's where we're at right now. That would mean as of right now, Mark, that's like, you always want to hear a $400,000 house, right? Al, would have been a $12 increase.
$12 increase, yeah.
So a $200,000 house is a $6 increase overall. So having said all the problems that we have, if those numbers stay true, I think that's pretty good for what we've accomplished. Like Al said, working with the numbers for the last 2 to 3 weeks now. So we're hoping we could stay within those numbers, right, Al? So that's where we're looking at.
And it's still, Alan, you have a budget coming up, right? I have a meeting for your 2021 budget. Alan?
Me?
Yeah.
For
the
what?
fire department?
Yeah, that's annual, yeah.
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 So do you know if there's going to be an increase or decrease yet?
I'm not even privy to that, and I'm not a commissioner, so I wouldn't even comment.
Okay. So we have to find out. So the best thing, Mark, is a good stab at it would be in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, you're muted, Mark.
I don't think he's muted. I think
we don't hear you, Mark, now.
Can't hear him. Let me see if I can unmute him.
You guys do that on purpose?
He's not muted from our perspective. We're not hearing him.
We're able to hear him.
I can't hear him.
I mean, like Al said, we're waiting on a couple of things. We're waiting on both the fire departments' budgets to come back, which again, that doesn't really count towards our budget.
Doesn't count, yeah.
And then we're waiting for the libraries, which that doesn't count towards our budget, but we collect them. And then the biggie is going to be the Mobile Life right now. That's going to change things. So.
Well, I think what Mobile Life's saying is that, for the billables, our billables are down. If their call volume's down, our billables are down. So
yeah, and then that's how we get credit back.
They're down by 20%. They're pretty.
Okay.
So our billables go down. That means our credit goes down.
Yeah.
And then we also lost the rent because remember they moved out of the
They moved. That's $11,000.
We knew that was coming. Yep. So.
Yeah, we knew it was coming.
That savings. We didn't get rent per se, but we got a savings.
We get $11,000 savings. $1,000 a month for rent. So we'll have that meeting and then we'll report back to we'll do the numbers with Chris and see what else we could arrange. And so we're looking at different ways of possibly looking at Mobile Life. One of the possible ways is instead of a full-blown 2021 budget, maybe we could talk about a 6-month budget and then see how things are going with COVID-19 and then do a full year budget, then a 2022 budget. So there's a bunch of things we could look at. That's why we're going to have the meeting with Scott Woolsey. So it should be I mean, they're willing to work with us always. So I'm confident that we'll work this out and we'll work some monies out with Chris Wilpo, who's always very good at that. But like I said, we're at the point where the budget is really pretty easy because we can't cut anymore.
And we're cutting, I mean, I like Al said, I want to thank the police department and the highway department because, you know, we went back to them and asked them, hey, can you cut a substantial amount of money if you could do it? And they came back with a lot of good suggestions. And I thank you, Jerry, and I thank John and the guys that you helped out the taxpayers. And believe it or not, right now, if we stay steady, the police department actually is under last year's budget by a little. So
Yep.
that's a great job by the police department right now. So
Yeah. You know,
Thanks, Jerry.
So and there's the whole thing about grants too. We're expecting a contract for a $50,000 grant from Senator Skoufis. Everything's been put on hold up in Albany. So a lot of things are really floating around. We just don't know with this COVID-19 with the budget, the way it hit the state. Anyhow, you're moving forward. So basically, Scott and I agree that we're pretty blessed. I mean, fund balance is in pretty good shape. So the town of Marlborough is unlike a lot of towns, like I keep on saying, we never deferred anybody. We never laid anybody off. We continued going, and people worked hard, and like the clerk and assessor, all of them, the building department, the planning board, the planning department, if I left that, and budget director, the police department. I mean, we just kept plowing through this thing. So kudos to everybody. Thank you very much, and we'll get through this one too. So I think outstanding job done by everybody. So thank you very much.
Mr. Supervisor, can I have two questions, or actually two statements?
You can have two questions or two statements.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the board, with regard to the planning board terms, that the state law says one should expire every year. So you have a seven person board, should be one expiring every year. So take a look at that at the end of the year when you set those.
We actually been talking about it, myself and Scott and Howard. So
we know about it, James.
we know about it.
Okay.
The reason, James, just to give you some background, James, about 5 years ago, we changed the planning board down to 5 members. And then we had a problem with getting a quorum. So we had to add back 2 members at the same time that another member was expiring and didn't come back. So we were at 2 members. So we ended up having to put on 4 people at one time and go back. So that's why you got a whole bunch of people at the same time right now. And,
and actually, James, it's 2 people. If we could accommodate like 2 people every other year that's going out, we'll look at it. We'll look at it again, James. Thanks.
Yeah, look at the regulations. The other thing is, with regard to the planning board, I was certainly in the minority, but I felt that when you have hotels, when you have motels, when you have bed and breakfast, you have a person who is responsible right there on the property. And what I suggested was a situation with these short-term rentals where you have cabins or bungalows, or that type of situation where the person is living right near those buildings. And while I'm not going to disagree with a 10-mile limit or something like that, I certainly, my preference, which was in the minority, was to have a situation where they are much closer to the rental units to avoid the problems that have occurred in the past. So
okay.
I just wanted to make that statement. I was in the minority, and I'm sure the chairman will mention that, but I wanted so that everyone could hear that's my opinion on the short-term rental. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. I know how it feels to be in the minority. So, Tom was on this. He's heard you. So we'll address it at 4:45 tomorrow at the meeting. Thank you, James. You're muted now. Any public comments?
That's what that was.
Any other comments besides Mark on the tentative budget? Okay.
Al,
Yeah,
did you, for correspondence, I'm sorry, did you get the letter from Cheryl that wanted to hold her cancer awareness and do a Zumba event at the Tom Back building that we discussed? Did you get that letter?
Tina didn't give it to me if she got it.
Yeah, I gave it to her. Maybe because she was sick, she didn't give it to you. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know if you wanted to discuss that with the board and see.
Sure,
what-
let's do it now.
Yeah.
So,
It's on October 10th from
Yeah.
12 to 4, I believe, and she wants it for free. So I just wanted to know what.
so she wants to waive the fee. And
Yeah,
this
because
is,
we never rented a parking lot anyway. I just really
yeah,
wanted to.
and she
know.
wants to do what there?
She's doing a cancer awareness, to all proceeds going to breast cancer awareness.
I have no
And-
problem with that.
Yeah, I didn't, I just wanted to run it by the.
Can I have a motion on that, gentlemen?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in
Thanks.
favor?
Aye.
Thank
Opposed?
you.
Thank you for bringing it up. She must have
Yeah.
been, she didn't give it to me. Usually she puts it in a folder.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Well, she wasn't in today, but I just have to call her tomorrow and let her know so she could get everything rolling. She wanted me to call her.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Colleen. Thanks for
Thank
bringing
you.
that up. That's very important.
Yes, good
So,
call.
we'll move to resolutions. If that's all right with the board? You
Yep.
okay?
Go right
Okay.
ahead.
I mean, Scott got his glasses on. It must mean,
I'm typing the mark because he's asking me.
Chatting with Mark.
okay. So, resolution 68 is to hold a public hearing on the 2021 preliminary budget that we were talking about. Be it resolved that consistent with the Town Law Section 108, a public hearing on the preliminary budget will be held on October the 12th, 2020 at 7 p.m. So, Colleen, could you pull the
Councilman
board?
Corcoran? Councilman
Yes.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes.
Councilman Koenig?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta?
Yes, thank you, Colin. Next resolution is 69 to appoint the member to the planning board. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, whereas the town Marlborough Planning Board has an open position to the resignation of member Ben Trapani. And whereas the planning board committee has interviewed for the position, and whereas it is the recommendation of the committee to appoint Robert Tronsolito. Be it resolved that Robert Tronsolito be appointed to the Town of Marlborough Planning Board effective immediately with the term ending date of December 31st, 2020. And that date is because that's the term date that Mr. Trapani would be up. And then during the reorg meeting, we'll give Bob his 5 years. So, and Daniel, Colleen,
Councilman Corcoran?
Absolutely. Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes. Congratulations, Bobby.
Thank you.
Councilman Koenig?
Yes. Congratulations, Bob.
Councilman Baker?
Yes, and I want to thank Mr. Trapani for his years of service as well.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta?
yeah, I want to thank Ben too for all his service and congratulations, Bob. Well deserved.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Speech, Bobby, speech.
I'll save that for the planning board meetings.
Yes, be vocal, be vocal. Speak up.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that.
I know that.
I know.
Don't worry
That's
about that. I know.
I can speak my piece with the best of them. Thank you.
I know you can, Bob. Good.
We got to give him tranquilizers before he goes in. So resolution number 70 is to authorize the highway superintendent to sign an agreement Basically, this is with the state of New York. We do this every year. And I sent everything to the board. I'm not going to read the whole resolution. There's a share service agreement that you allow me to sign with John. And that's about the story. I mean, the resolution is that the agreement is approved by this town board and the highway superintendent is authorized to sign in duplicate. This agreement is made pursuant to section 99-R of the general municipal law. An original of this signed agreement shall be signed with the town clerk office, and it's the share agreement with the state, almost like we do with the county exactly. There's things about material and stuff like that. And so I'll go over this with John. John's comfortable with it. I need to poll the board, Colleen.
Councilman Corcoran,
Yes.
Councilman Molinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Koenig,
Yes.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know I forgot one thing here, and I want to go back to it. So we were talking about, I met with Charlie Maggio. We were talking about the water to the fountain that Emily Griner, as a silver award for Girl Scout, was doing. We're preliminary, we're going to put it above ground, like Alan Koenig suggested. And more, we talked about it with Charlie and Highway. Actually, John is going to take a look at it to see what it would take to just put it on the ground. Charlie says he's got all the material. It's just about labor. So I think that probably would be the best way to go, because the fountain's going to be used by human consumption. And if it's above with the RV and all this other stuff, Charlie feels that we could get through with it if it was on the ground. Therefore, basically what he was saying is also that if they hit any rock, they'll just go over the rock and, prepare it from there, have sand and stuff like that. So John, I talked to John this morning. He's going to take a look at it with Gary. And because the initial run from the hydrant, we had to go on the ground anyhow because there was a grassy area there. I don't know what the board feels about that, but I feel confident maybe that's the best way of going. And then if we ever need water for the on the north side of the dog park, then we'll have it there. We could do, hey, could I put some extension there? So I feel that that's a better way of going, probably, instead of nickel diming it. So
I talked to John too, Al. I talked to John too. I agree with you 100%. If he said his only concern was the hitting of the rock, and depending on how much rock. But I mean, like we said before, Alan had a great idea having it outside on the outside. The thing is, when we met with the water department, they said that it could be like 90 feet to 100 feet, like that. And in the hot weather, it's going to be warm as can be sitting out there, and they're concerned about it. So he actually would rather it be under the ground, but he said it's obviously easier, right, to put it on top of the ground. But I think what Al said, instead of nickel and diamond, if we can do it, if we could do it, let's do it right, So,
I think at the original meeting, I brought that up. If it was going to be for human consumption, we can't do it that way. I did talk to Charlie as well, maybe a few days after the meeting. And I brought it up. I said, they can only be for animal consumption and, irrigation. I'm actually in favor of doing it this way, the right way. It's going to take a little bit of money, but it's our park and it's going to be there forever. So I would go the right way.
Okay, we'll give them, I think it's mostly, Charlie was saying it's mostly labor from the highway department. So we'll check it out. It's kind of, I'm old and things trigger my brain. So I got a call from Larry from the landfill, and he told me about 4455 that they were doing a reclamation and paving job. And so I called John Riley from DOT, and then I talked to Dave Kerrigan, and I got a name of the people that were doing it. I got the contract, and I gave it to John Alonji. And then John went with his trucks and he picked a whole bunch of millings up for the landfill. So we could do the same thing as we did for the park. So I want to thank Larry for a heads up on that, and I followed through. And we got, John said we got a considerable amount, so we could do the landfill and that whole area going up there.
Yeah, I saw the guys
Great
calling
job.
that today.
Good.
It's great.
Just wanted to throw that out to you, so just to let you know what's going on.
Hey, Ace,
I don't have anything else, gentlemen.
can I ask a question?
You can.
Mr. Corcoran, Scott, have you been directly coordinating with Kit, Mr. Reynolds? Have you been chatting with him or me?
Well, I don't know, whatever
I can't
came up
tell.
on my, whatever came up on my screen, that's where I'm chatting with. I don't know if
Okay,
you got
so
it or you got it.
You sent the chat to me, and I forwarded to Mark. So hopefully he got it.
Mark, did you get it? Give him a thumbs up. All
There you
right.
go.
Mark needs a dry erase board for next meeting. He gives us right the
I don't know
questions
what
and hold
happened.
them
It
up.
worked. He worked.
So
That's gonna be cool.
I didn't see, was that a thumbs up? He got it?
Yeah, he got it.
Yes,
All right.
He did.
got it.
Well, gentlemen and ladies, thank you very much. Great meeting. Stay safe. Chief, as always, I'll be talking to you tomorrow morning.
Can I bring one more
Alan
thing
has
up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just this is kind of, I think,
You
important.
know, I forgot, Al. I'm really
I
sorry.
mean, look, there's a big game on tonight, so I'm going to ask if I can get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Seconded.
A second.
All in favor?
Boom.
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Aye.
everybody.
Nice.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody. Have a good night.
Good luck, Bobby. Good luck.
Good luck,
Thank
Bob.
you.